Brian. Welcome to the Brian Show. It's always fun and games. You already know, and you can see the Brian Show isn't lame. Well, maybe it is lame, but you should still tune in. If you want to piss out some laughs, well, you've got your place. The Brian Show. Welcome to the Brian Show. It'll make you piss your jeans. Oh, I want to hear wet jeans. Welcome to the Brian Show, and no, my name's not Baby. References from the 80s are just the kind of thing that you're going to hear. Brian Show, my dear. You live, laugh, love, and then you'll see that you should send me some beer in the Brian Show. Welcome to the Brian Show. It'll make you piss your jeans. Ooh, I want to hear wet jeans. Welcome to the Brian Show. I thought I had more. Oh well. I let Welcome to the Brian Show go on extra verse. I was just going to try and riff, but it wouldn't have been any good. So I just decided not to do it. Welcome to the Brian Show, everybody. It's Wednesday at the appointed time, 8 p.m. And I'm talking to you from behind the golden microphone at the EIB network. Rush Limbaugh has graciously turned over the keys to the kingdom. He's got the Medal of Honor, and he's now decided that he's going to ride off into the sunset as a true American patriot. And so you'll be hearing me on your grandfather and your weird uncle's AM dial talking about socialism and feminazis and Pelosi and all that other bullshit that he talks about. But really, Rush Limbaugh sucks, right? I mean, nobody feels bad that he has lung cancer. That's what happens when you smoke a cigar every day for 30 years. It'll catch up to you. But whatever. That guy sucks, and the people that listen to him suck. But you guys don't suck unless you listen to Rush Limbaugh too. But I don't think you do. You are listening to the Brian Show. It's a weekly show where I'm Brian, and I just tell you about what I feel like. I tell you what's going on, and sometimes I have some funny bits, and sometimes I have some serious bits, and everything in between. So welcome, and you can find me on the Twitter and the Gmail and the Brian Show at gmail.com, and there's also a live chat set up during the YouTube during the live YouTube show. So navigate to that and come on in and say hello. I didn't do a show last week. I didn't do one at all. I normally, if I don't do one on Wednesday for whatever reason, I'll try to do one on Saturday. But I just was so slammed. I did not have a spare moment to even put together a show that was anything. So, and I really haven't had much time this week. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, and it's going to continue to be. But I wanted to go ahead and do a show and just kind of say what's up and let you know I'm still here. And I'm trying not to miss any weeks. There may be a couple weeks coming up where I may have to miss a week because I'll be moving from this house, and I may be preoccupied with that. I may not have internet. Who knows? But I will do my best and keep you updated. And you can check us out on Facebook. Check us like there's anybody else. You can find the Brian Show, and I'll send you you can send me an invite, and I'll let you in. But yeah. So this past weekend we went to Disney World, and it was for my wife's birthday. And we went with some friends, and I do live in Florida, so anywhere pretty much in Florida, unless you're in the Keys, is fairly accessible to Disney because, as you know, Orlando's right about the middle of the state, maybe a little north of the middle of the state, but close enough. And so we made our way over there and went and did it. And we went on Super Bowl Sunday, and our thought was that the Super Bowl would keep the crowds away. And it did not. It was packed to the gills. It wasn't as packed as I've ever seen a theme park, but it was pretty packed. There were a lot more people than I expected. And it makes sense because the Super Bowl didn't start till 6:30, or I think it started around 6:30. And a lot of the people that were there were from out of the country, so they don't care about the Super Bowl. So I think that kind of made we miscalculated how popular Disney would be on Super Bowl Sunday. And I was actually listening to another podcast today, and they were talking about going to Disneyland on Super Bowl Sunday, and this was obviously recorded before Super Bowl Sunday, and they said, well, we're gonna go to Disneyland, and we're gonna definitely beat the crowds because of Super Bowl. And I just wanted to say, not gonna happen. Well, maybe Disneyland's different. I don't know, but actually, well, it's in LA, right, or near there. So it's they had the 49ers play, but 49ers are way north. So I don't know. I just don't know the attendance of Disney World or Disneyland, but as far as Disney World, it was pretty packed. But we had a good time. But I've been dragging ass this whole week because I got back late and had to go to work on Monday, and it was tired. It was tired. I was tired. I still am tired. But I'm here for you. But one of the highlights of the week, after the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl, Donald Trump, as he is wont to do, makes a mistake because he's a moron, and he tweeted out to the great state of Kansas, congratulations. Well, anybody knows anything knows that Kansas does not have a professional football team, but Missouri does. Kansas City, Missouri, and I know they're right on the border, but we all and so I tweeted about it from my other account, and I don't get. I have a few hundred followers. I follow a few hundred people. It's pretty low stakes, but this particular tweet got a lot of retweets and got a lot of faves. What am I, a millennial? Favorites and likes, or whatever they're called. And it was by by far my most popular tweet I've ever had. It was just my phone was dinging the entire day, and I was responding to some of the people. Some of them were trolls, but the whole tenor of it was Donald Trump, of course, knew that it was in Missouri, but since it was Kansas, that people are making a big deal out of it because Kansas City and Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas are so near each other, and he was congratulating the entire region, just like the New York Jets play in New Jersey. But that's stupid because Kansas City, Missouri is the big city, and Kansas City, Kansas is a very small city, and Donald Trump is from the Northeast, and he would have tweeted, something, congratulations to the New York Jets, even though they're in New Jersey, they're still considered New York, or something like that, just so you know that he thinks he's very smart. The State of the Union was yet last. So anyway, well, I'll get to that in a second. But anyway, so it was fun. I had some fun interactions with people, but I got a lot of, not a lot, but a few, you're talking about, you lib, and that's why I hate libs, because they're always, whatever, how that shit goes. And since I didn't, if I had if I was famous and there was an onslaught of this every single day, or I was a politician, and thousands of people were tweeting at me every day, that might be a different story. But the limited amount of pushback I got really didn't bother me, and it didn't intrude into my real life day like I thought it would. And so I didn't feel compelled to strike back at these people. I just let them go, even though I could have argued with them. I didn't. I didn't feel like they made any good arguments, but even if they did, it didn't affect me in the sense that, oh man, my self-worth is affected by what some stranger on the internet feels. So basically I'm saying that cyberbullying is fake, and people need to get over it. No, I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that I thought before, well, what if I got a really popular Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or something, that was popular online only, or YouTube. What if the Brian Show blows up? Yeah, right. What would happen? And how would I deal with the people that were, being negative towards me? And I think it probably wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't think about it. And when people, I think if I was an actor, I would probably read reviews, because people say I never read my reviews, or but if you think about the amount of people that like you as a famous person versus the amount of people that don't like you, I don't think Nickelback. There's lots of people that don't like Nickelback. And there's kind of a classic example, or Limp Bizkit, or any of those, bands that people don't like because they're not bands that, garner respect, but they have a large fan base. So there's a large population of people in the world that, don't like Limp Bizkit. I don't either. I don't think they're any good, but I don't, spend my time telling Fred Durst that I don't like him, because he knows. He got my letters, but not anymore. But the amount of people that don't like you versus the people that do like you is like, a drop in the ocean. So, there might be, or I don't know. I can't think of a good metaphor. There are. I'll stick with the drop. Let's say a little bit of oil. You drop a little olive oil. The olive oil represents the negativity in a bowl of water. Drop a few drops here or there, you'll see it, but it's not going to really affect the quality of the water. It's not a big deal. And so, the amount of hate you might get and pushback still pales in comparison to the love that you receive. I thought I heard my dog. So the pushback that I was experiencing didn't really intrude into my real life at all. And if I became famous on my own merits or became popular on my own merits, there would be people that just spend their days trying to tear you down for whatever reason. But there would be a lot of people that did like you. So, people go to, let's say Nickelback, they just announced a tour with who else or who knows. And they're still playing stadiums. So, Nickelback has detractors and people don't like them. But those guys, then they go out on stage and they hear the roar of the crowd. And so you can't, I guess, it's good to know that there's never going to be a universal, there's not going to be one person that everybody likes. And you're not going to be not everybody's going to like you. And that's what I had to kind of think about this week, is that not everybody's going to like you. But if you're lucky, most people will like you, or the people that matter will like you, because of how you treat them and how you navigate the world. And if you try to please everybody, then I think fewer people will end up respecting you. And I am a total people pleaser, but I have to kind of pull myself back, and there are people that don't deserve to be kind of given, not given respect, but given anything more than the bare minimum. And that's been a lesson, not just on the internet, but in real life. And realizing that, everybody that would say, I've heard, yeah, your band sucks. Man, I don't like that song. Your band sucks. Well, there were still people that came out to the show and liked the band. So, not everybody's going to like everything you do. And and that's kind of freeing, because, that way you don't have to appeal to everybody. Because even if something is vastly popular, like the Super Bowl or Game of Thrones, there's still going to be large populations of the world that don't care about those things. And you're saying, well, so you're saying that no matter how big you get, there will always be people that don't like you. Who cares? Well, you're right. Who cares? But on the other hand, it's kind of liberating to have the idea that you can live your life the best way you see fit. And there might be people, little, pockets of negativity, but for the most part, you are somebody that lives a good life. So, in the roundabout way, that's kind of the main theme of this week that I've been thinking about, in addition to everything else. I've also been thinking about while I was at Disney World, if Peter Pan had grown up, and he was just Pete Pan. What would Pete Pan's life be like? What's the girl's name? Peter Pan. Let me see here. Look it up. Peter Pan. Peter Pan. Crossword clue. Wendy, that's it. Wendy. Does he marry Wendy and grows up and, comes back from Neverland and lives in Victorian England and gets a job as a chimney sweep, and his hat, he gets fat, and he drinks a lot, and the Lost Boys, Wendy gets pissed off at the Lost Boys because they always come into her house and get her husband drunk and track mud all over the place, and it was charming when she mothered them as a teenager, but now it's like, she's got to get up in the morning and she has kids. Nanny, the dog, has long died. That's a tragic tale in it of itself. And it's just a bad time for everybody, but Pete just keeps chugging along and he's doing his thing. And, is he still wearing those tattered green costume? Oh, I don't know. His shadow, is a little heavier nowadays because he's a little heavier and can't fly as much, and he's got gout in his knees, and that whole Captain Hook thing. He kind of wishes, like, well, shit, I wish I had my own pirate ship with a Queeg, what's his name, Queeg or whatever his name is, and I can just ride off into the magic sunset and go have adventures. But now I'm stuck here in freaking England, Victorian England, and the Industrial Revolution, and it's dusty and dirty, and my only joy is at the bottom of a pint glass, and man, that's dark. That is dire and dismal. Pete Pan. No one wants to see Pete Pan. They want to see Peter Pan. They want to. What happens to Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell gets sick of his shit too, and she had a big crush on him and was jealous of Wendy. But now she's happy. She's like, you can have him. I don't. He doesn't deserve me. I'm a magic little pixie fairy, and when I speak, it sounds like bells, but he doesn't listen to me anyway, and he doesn't listen to you. So if he doesn't listen to you, why would he? I think he listens to me, and so she's doing her own thing. She's living in a lantern somewhere. She might have flown across to New York, and she seems like a kind of an artist type. So maybe she. Or, this is Victorian England. I don't know when, but maybe she flew to France and became Monet's muse, and helped inspire the Impressionistic movement, not because of anything, but she flitted around so quickly that the Impressionists couldn't get an accurate. Get her to sit still long enough where they could paint her accurately. And so it was more just the motion of Tinkerbell and the movement and the kind of idea and the essence of Tinkerbell on the canvas instead of a portrait that it was designed to be as realistic as possible. So if you look at any of those impressionistic paintings, it's I can see how Tinkerbell could have influenced that. So, Tinkerbell's in France, and Pete's still in London, and he probably doesn't live too much longer. I mean, he could be a boy forever, but Wendy made him a man, and He didn't know what he was signing up for. And they got kids, and it's just a whole thing. So, Pete Pan, what are you going to do? I don't want his life. I don't want Pete Pan's life. Like I said earlier, I have a bunch of stuff to do in the next couple weeks, and there are deadlines. And it is daunting, the amount of stuff that I have to do. But as I was driving home from work today, I was thinking about how tired I was. And I thought, well, I'm just going to, 2 weeks in a row. It's not a big deal. And it's not like I have patrons. I don't have a Patreon where I have to, this is for me, and I don't want to feel compelled to do the Brian Show, but, because I mostly do it as an exercise in discipline, or not mostly, but part of the reason I kind of gave away the little nugget of truth I was trying to get to. But I was thinking about, so I would come home and then see, and I was talking to my wife. I was like, I want to do a Brian Show tonight, and she's like, you should. So we made it happen. We got stuff that we needed to get done. Got dinner made. She made dinner. I didn't. I just helped a little bit, to be fair. And then cleaned up, and even watched an episode of BoJack Horseman. And I was thinking, well, boy, it sure would be nice to get in bed a little early, but this is something I like to do, and I enjoy just kind of talking into the ether and seeing, the kind of responses I get. And what are you doing, buddy? And seeing oh boy, got my dog. So what I was going to say is it's an exercise in discipline. I could have, he's got a little cough. I could have just not done it 2 weeks in a row, but it's like exercise. You're like, you want that extra sleep, but you feel like shit the next day if you don't exercise, or the whole day. So it's something fun, and I enjoy it while I'm doing it. Unlike running, although sometimes I enjoy it, but for the most part, I enjoy the Brian Show and the challenges it brings, and just the kind of whole freedom it brings to be whatever I want to be and do whatever I want to do. And so I just kind of changed my mindset and said, well, instead of it being something that I have to do, it's something that I have to do. And there's a difference. It's not compulsory. It's not something that or I'm not compelled to do it. It's not mandatory. It is something that I get to do. And so when I think about that and think about my mindset like that, then it is an exercise in discipline, because I can do the Brian Show and spend my time with it and spend my time with you, and then I'll feel better on the back end because I've been able to get everything off my chest that I need to that week. And so that's what I did. So I didn't go home and take a nap because I couldn't. I just kind of pushed through, and now everything's good. So I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad I'm here with you. And that's another thing about that I can apply to exercise too, or exercise is I don't get to do, or I don't have to do it. I get to do it, and that's or I don't have to do it. I have to do it. So I don't have to do it. I get to do it, meaning that I could one of these days my body's going to break down. I won't be able to run, or I won't be able to lift weights, or I won't be able to do the Brian Show, or life will get in the way. And so take advantage of what I got going on now, and do it while I can. So that's that. So I think, like I said, I didn't have anything planned for this week, and so I'll leave you with a few parting thoughts. We've been watching Letterkenny, which is a great show. It's on Hulu in the United States. I highly recommend it. I almost made a joke earlier. I decided not to because nobody would get it unless you watch Letterkenny. So that's my pick of the week. Second pick of the week, of course, is Schitt's Creek, another Canadian show that we've been watching at a friend's house because they get pop, which I didn't know was a thing until I saw Schitt's Creek, the final season. So I'm eager to. I'm sad to see it go, but I'm glad that it's going out on top. Same with BoJack Horseman. If you haven't watched BoJack Horseman on Netflix, it's really good. It's it can be heavy at times, and it can be very emotional at times, but it's also really funny, and it's just a really interesting idea to take animals and humans, throw them all together in an animated fashion, and add a lot of gravitas to it, and a lot of intelligent dialogue, and a lot of thoughtful ruminations on the human existence and addiction and depression and all that good stuff. But this is the final season too. They just released the rest of the episodes to end the series. So we got a few more episodes of that, and then that rides off into the sunset. So I got two of my favorite shows ending, and The Good Place just ended. I think it was last week. I think on the 31st it ended with it's an hour finale, and it was really good. It ended the way it probably should have ended, not the happy ending, that you would expect, where everybody, gets exactly what they want. They get, you don't get what you need, get what you want, get what you need. So that's that. So I'm always trying to read more books, and I'm making my way through Moby Dick now, and I can read a few pages a night before sleep overtakes me. So it's taken me a while to get through it. And if it was a less dense, more contemporary book, it would probably take me less time. But I'm working my way through that, so I'll let you know how that goes. But it's an interesting book, and it's and there are parts of it that are that I can skip. Like I don't really need a whole chapter on how a whaling ship, what the wood used in the whaling ship is. It doesn't. So I skip that stuff. But the stuff that with the actual story is enjoyable. But it is something you have to pay attention to. So it's quasi for pleasure, in the sense that I'm not reading it for a class, but it's also something where I feel like I should pay attention to it, and probably should have read it a long time ago. But if some butts were candy and nuts, and we'd all have a party or something, I don't remember what that was. I don't even think that's applicable here. It's some kind of not regretful action that I'm shooting myself to death, and I really should not. So, but that's where it is. So I am gonna end it here. and start fresh again tomorrow. And most likely see you next week. And same Brian time, same Brian channel. Although I think the streaming channel is the same when I share it, but they might change it each time. I don't know. So, similar. I will say same bat time, similar bat channel. So, take you out. Brian Show. Welcome to the Brian Show. It's always fun and games. You already know and you can see the Brian Show isn't lame. Well, maybe it is lame, but you should still tune in. If you want to piss out some laughs, well, you've got your place. Brian Show. Welcome to the Brian Show. Here's a joke about my little peen. Ooh, Brian Show. My little peen. Welcome to the Brian Show. And no, my name's not Baby. References from the 80s are just the kind of thing that you're going to hear. The Brian Show, my dear. You live, laugh, love, and then you'll see that you should send me some beer. The Brian Show. Welcome to the Brian Show. It'll make you piss your jeans. I want to hear wet jeans.
I love you.
Bye-bye. The hidden track.